The Jean Carroll case came back up on Twitter today now that Trump is officially inaugurated as the president. Let us welcome our new president, Trump. Good job, buddy. Jean Carroll, will he have to pay the $85 million? And what is his out now? There's messages from the Supreme Court. There's messages about his appeal. And I believe that his best shot is going to be through the Supreme Court, through Clarence Thomas has mentioned this. And we'll get to that tweet at the very end. But first, we have an article here. Oh, welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. That helps push this video out to everybody else. So here we are over on ABC News. This is Trump asks appeals court to reconsider overturning the $5 million Jean Carroll verdict. The court ruled last month that Trump failed to prove he deserved a new trial. What this is going to do, because this happened, it's now open to go to the next appeals phase, which is how he has to climb that ladder to get it to the Supreme Court, which is going to be eventually what I believe will get this thing undone. President-elect Donald Trump is asking a federal appeals court to reconsider overturning a jury's verdict that found he abused writer Jean Carroll in the mid-1990s and awarded her $5 million in damages. After the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit determined last month that Trump failed to prove he deserved a new trial, lawyers for Trump on Tuesday requested an en banc hearing in which the full court would hear the case rather than a select panel. A New York jury in 2023 awarding Carroll $5 million in damages after it found Trump liable for abusing her in the dressing room of a Bergdorf Goodman department store in Manhattan in the mid-1990s. Remember, that all came from a TV show, specifically Law and Order, and for defaming her in 2022 when he denied the allegations. So now that's him saying I'm not guilty is to defame someone. Last year, another jury ordered Trump to pay an additional $83 million in damages for his defamatory statements about Carroll. This is going to all tie into Fauci too. In the next tweet, you'll see, because Fauci got a pardon, but that doesn't mean he's off the hook. Trump argued the trial court in 2023 erred when it allowed two women to testify about Trump allegedly assaulting them, as well as permitting Carroll's lawyers to show the jury part of the now infamous Access Hollywood tape in which Trump boasted about grabbing women. Quote, to have any chance of persuading a jury, Carroll's implausible, unsubstantiated allegations had to be, and repeatedly were, propped up by the erroneous admission of highly inflammatory propensity evidence, wrote Trump's lawyers Todd Blanche, Emil Bove, and John Sauter, who have all been picked by Trump for top Justice Department posts in his incoming administration. So all three of these guys are being well rewarded, but now they're going to be in charge of stuff that could help. He's going to need a lot of lawyers for what he's going to do to the U.S. government as far as shrinking it. There's going to be a lot of lawsuits. There's already one announced by George Soros suing the DOJ, the government Department of Government Efficiency with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, that it was launched by George Soros. So that has to go. So Trump's lawyers are going to be full-time going after that too. Trump's lawyers argued that the trial court's decisions, if left uncorrected, could set a damaging precedent of allowing inflammatory propensity evidence in a wide range of future cases. Trump's request for an en banc hearing is his final appellate option before possibly turning to the Supreme Court. So this is already in action. It's already pretty much done. It's all but done. And then he gets to go to the Supreme Court. So look for that this year. Here's where it affects Fauci, ends up affecting this whole thing. Now here's Jim Acosta, failed journalist. Dr. Anthony Fauci tells me he is grateful for the pardon he received from President Biden, noting he had just received word from his attorney this morning that the pardon had gone through. Quote, it feels good and I'm grateful to the president for doing it, Dr. Fauci said, croaked In a brief phone call reacting to the news, Fauci pointed to the president's statement that noted he has not committed any crimes. Oh, sure, crimes of humanity. I have done nothing wrong, certainly nothing criminal. No grounds at all, Fauci said. The former head of Trump's White House COVID task force said the Biden White House contacted him about a month ago about, quote, the baseless threats against me, and said the president was exploring the idea of granting a preemptive pardon to the renowned healthcare expert. I didn't know it was real until last night, Fauci said, when the White House indicated to his attorney that a pardon could be coming. Fauci said he was becoming increasingly concerned about the threats aimed at his family and pointed to congressional hearings last year when Republican lawmakers had accused him of committing crimes during the time of the American response to the pandemic. Fauci, well, we'll never know now because now that you've been pardoned, you can't even look. Fauci added that Biden White House expressed concern about the immeasurable stress the threats were placing on his family. So here's my beef with Fauci and Biden. Biden said on day one in 2021 when he became president, he said, I am going to have the most transparent administration in history.
We've run a campaign that's basically scandal-free. It's hard to do in American politics these days.
Transparent administration. When Biden launched these blanket pardons for Fauci, Adam Schiff, Liz Cheney, General Mark Milley, his brother, Jim Biden, they can't investigate them, right? So now we put a blanket of opacity. It's the opposite of transparent. It's opaque. You can't even look in there. That is, you can't learn from the science, even Fauci's terrible science. We can't go in and learn what he did to learn from it and stop from doing it in the future. But that's not just what this is about. This is about how can you still go after Fauci? It is possible. So this is another tweet that says, waiting to join the class action suit by the American people. We can still sue for damages like E. Jean Carroll. The damages that Fauci caused, individual victims can still sue him. That presidential pardon doesn't cover that. So that's where if he's going to be treated, if we get to have the same privileges as E. Jean Carroll, then he's back on the hook. And here's a weird, strange footage of E. Jean Carroll back when she had a call-in radio show or TV show on a local New York channel. This was back when she claimed Trump attacked her.
Well, I'm calling because I'm a 49-year-old single woman who's never been married. I consider myself well-educated, but at the same time, I find it difficult to meet gentlemen who are of the caliber I want to date.
Oh, Jody. Nothing in the whole world is easier. The thing is, you gotta just leave your house, Jody, and just get out there. The best place to meet men is on the street. You just see somebody cool coming toward you, stop him. Drop your purse, drop your change, hand him a beer, hand him a $5 bill. If you see somebody who say, my name is such and such, that's how you do it. The street is the #1 place to meet a guy.
She loves dating guys on the street. What a loopy, bizarre person. And that's all I'll say about her. We've got more on her, though. Hold on. Okay, here's Justice Clarence Thomas. Breaking, Clarence Thomas just said that the E. Jean Carroll case is election interference orchestrated by the Democrats. Do you agree, yes or no? Now, this is what I believe they're going to use to get her off the hook. It's going to be election. They're going to claim, I believe, election interference. So over here on the right, it says the mention of election interference by Democrats in relation to the E. Jean Carroll case ties into broader political narratives, particularly Trump's claims of political persecution amidst his legal battles and political activities. So we already mentioned earlier, this thing could go to the Supreme Court, which I hope it does. And if it happens, for instance, they remove the statute of limitations or raise them on E. Jean Carroll so she could even bring this case back up against Trump. They could say that's illegal or obviously done just for election purposes, because we've already exposed the two. It was Hoffman, the guy that does run LinkedIn, who's on the you-know-what island list, and Kellyanne George Conway is the other guy that helped work with E. Jean Carroll to remove those statute of limitations when Trump said he was running for office. But I've got good news for E. Jean Carroll, because today is all happy celebration of Trump. This is something that Donald Trump already tweeted, by the way. E. Jean Carroll said, too many good TV shows on Sunday night. My God, what do you watch? And then down below, she responds, I'm a massive Apprentice fan. That's President Trump's old show of The Apprentice. President Trump has just truth bombed out about 20 posts showing how E. Jean Carroll is a lunatic who was obsessed with Roger Ailes and a massive Apprentice fan. I might as well share them all with you here. Now, why is that so funny? Because she loved seeing Donald Trump on TV on The Apprentice, and now she gets to watch him for 4 years as her president of the United States, as her case meanders its way up to the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court could get Trump off on what is clearly, they have case precedent now in all of his other cases, being merely election interference. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Does Trump pay E. Jean Carroll one dime or not one dime? I'm Doug in exile.